This is the final part of the Prometheus escapes, and I've messed up covering this story by doing part 1 and 2 in quick succession, then leaving nearly 2 weeks to getting around to doing the third and final part. This story is a big event crossover type thing, with the Excellent Men and the Avengers and Mr. Doom, and terrible art that gets worse with every issue. This cover, they connect together, all 3 covers. I showed them together in part 1. And now this cover, this is just awful. This is the worst one of the 3. It's just really terrible. And it also shows my major criticism of the art last issue. We have got this Mark Beaver fella doing all the art. And when he does the contorted demons and the abstract shapes, it can be fine. But the problem is, the real characters look like demons too. Like Iron Man there, he looks like a demon. This isn't a demon, this is actually Iron Man. Then we have got the Flash. He looks like a demon with his white face, but no, that's meant to be really him. And then we've got Spider-Man. Again, he just looks like a demon. And he is actually a demon, but he is drawn just as weirdly as the non-demons. This cover is really bad. It is a mess. And Mr. Doom is at the bottom, and it annoys us because it makes no sense. Why is he at the bottom? What's he doing? He's slightly cropped off as well. It makes it look like some comedy book. Like, you should have a little speech bubble there saying, "Oh, and I'm in it as well." And then, with him, the last 2 covers, he was in the background of them, and there was some conceptual sense behind it. The first one, he's just in his armour, looking normal. Second one, he was defeated and his armour was falling apart. Now the third one, bring him to the forefront, almost out of frame, he's fine. He should be in the background again, like sat on the ground, holding his head in defeat with like almost knee armour because it's all been destroyed. But the conceptual elements of these covers, as I said, I showed them all together in part 1. The first 2 covers, they had problems, but between them there was a theme. The first one had Buffy Pride fighting a demon as the centrepiece. The second one had Captain Britain fighting Wonder Man as the centrepiece, although ironically it was off-centre. This one is just a mess. They've just thrown all the other characters in the story onto this cover. For this one, it should be Phoenix versus Mr. Doom or something. Or Phoenix versus Donnie Darkov. No. It should be Morgan versus Donnie Darkov, actually, because that happens in the comic. That way, across all 3, you would have a continuing theme, a member of Excalibur, the Excellent Men, fighting someone else. Instead, we've got this. Every other character just thrown together in a smorgasbord of shite. Have Morgan fighting Donnie Darkov with Mr. Doom in the background, all defeated. But even if that was done, it doesn't matter. It would still be drawn badly. The story so far is Mr. Doom, he stole a magic sword, and actually I have problems with the story, with his character, with his motivations. The idea is though that he wants to destroy this demon dimension and harvest it for the rare element of Prometheus, which, as I've said, I believe his armour is made out of. And he wants all this Prometheus to basically barter with the real world to try and leverage rulership over the whole planet. As I said though, awful art. This is the opening page and it's terrible. And the characters that are closest to us, they look the worst. Mr. Doom, he doesn't have a chest. He just has a grey background as a chest. But in all fairness, the surgery that replaced his torso with a background. That's probably why he doesn't have any legs. Then the Flash over here, look at the state of him. And it's not just the art. The art is bad, but the colourist is just as bad. He has coloured the Flash entirely blue and not bothered with the white streaks on the costume. So it's not just bad art, it's bad colourist, bad letterist, bad editorist, bad everything. The Avengers and the Excellent Men, they are stopping Mr. Doom from destroying this L dimension. And the art is just so bad. I mean, you can't follow this story from the art. And as I said, it really has gotten worse as the story went on. And the greatest shame is, not only does the story have some potential, but in this issue there are moments that would be really good with another artist. Like here, we have got a fairly decent little fight between Mr. Doom and Rachel Phoenix. Last issue, I also pointed out how with the art, nothing remains consistent. And this page shows that up here we have got Captain Britain carrying Buffy Pride, but then later on he's carrying no one, and Buffy Pride is already there. The art is just atrocious. Here's a game for the viewer. Is this blue person a demon or is it not? Comment down below with your answers. It's a fucking mess. We're having characters fighting demons, and at no point can you visually identify which characters are and which characters are not demons. You can only follow it by virtue of knowing which characters are involved. If they had introduced like a demon version of Charlotte Witch in this story, you'd really be without a clue. I sometimes nitpick with art, like on Spain. I'll point out half-drawn stuff or little cheats, but that is kind of just my reaction to it. I'm not saying the art is awful, I'm pointing stuff out, and I didn't mind the art, I just tend to recognise those things. But if the artist on Spain, Jason Alexander from Seinfeld, if he had drawn this story, it would be so much better. This is just really bad art. Really bad art that utterly ruins the story. And here is where it really starts to go from annoying to upsetting. Donnie Darkov, he's an art character, and here we have got a really good sequence. We have a fight between him and Mr. Doom. They have got history together, and this resolves it and completely resolves Donnie Darkov's character. And it's just drawn awfully. We've got flashbacks here, and this is showing their history, and even these are bad. It's like the artist, deliberately, he has drawn like the worst pictures possible to establish all this information, or to go with what is being said. And the writing is good, when you can read it anyway, because the letterist is fucking putting tiny red text on black backgrounds. It's really, really hard to read. Most of the issue is Doom fighting Donnie Darkov, and it's just sad. This would be brilliant with someone competent drawing it. Doom, he is written well in this fight scene at least. I do take issue with his plan, and he was written better than the first part of the story, but his plan, when I was reading this, in the first part, I made a better assumption than what the story went with. Mr. Doom, his mother is trapped in hell. Her soul belongs to Satan. Mr. Doom, he has been motivated for years to try and free his mother. This story, which has Doom take over a demon dimension, makes absolutely no mention of that. So here is a much better idea, and you can still have the bulk of this story remain the same. Doom, He took over this dimension and rulership over its demons to lead them in an assault against the hell that his mother is trapped in. Not to toot my own horn, but that is better than him wanting to just harvest an entire dimension to have some magic MacGuffin element. There is actually one thing I want to show, but I'm looking for a good picture showing Donnie Darkov in this. Well, when I say good. Another problem though, the story boils down to none of the characters, except maybe Morgan, contributing anything. Buffy Pride, I suppose, she was essential to getting Mr. Doom into this dimension, but everyone else, especially the Avengers, they are just fighting hordes of demons in the background, while the main story with Doom and Donnie Darkov plays out. And Morgan, they use her, they have her empathy powers, and she is able to help Donnie Darkov let go of his anger about his life. And I suppose this is the best we're getting. This is what I'm going to have to use here. This picture of Donnie Darkov there. Look at him, look at his design, study it. He looks like a bit of a purple robot, doesn't he? Well, keep that in mind. This is what Donnie Darkov actually looks like. This is his handbook entry. And this is how the artist has drawn him. Look at this. It's completely different. He has got this purple bit on his chest. He's got these silver gloves. These bits on his shoulders. He's got red trunks. He's got a fairly normal face. And this is how the artist has drawn that. And they didn't even tell you his name straight away in this story. And you would never be able to ever guess that this character here was meant to be that character. It's just so bad. Here's another good shot, actually, a full body shot there. That's probably better. There, compare the two. They look nothing alike. Well, on this one, for starters, he has two tails when he's only meant to have one. So bad. It looks not like the character it is meant to be at all. They leave Donnie Darkov in charge of this L dimension, and I think this is the last time he ever appears. He's an odd Fantastic Force enemy, and it's interesting that they resolved his character entirely. We do see this demon dimension again, but he isn't even mentioned. Someone else is just ruling it now. I think they pretty much just ignored this whole story. Bad art. First issue was bad art sinking a story with some potential. Second issue was bad art ruining a comic entirely. Third issue was bad art ruining what could be a decent comic. Didn't read this story. The art is terrible. It's a shame. The stuff in this issue is mostly well written. A better artist would have made this one so much better. I rate this 7 thumbs up.